A small truck like this will have a very enthusiastic niche community that loves it, but that community will not be large enough to keep it on sale for long enough to sustain, just like the iPhone 12 mini. Okay, we got to talk about this Slate truck. I have so many thoughts on this Slate truck. I was trying to come up with an analogy actually for it, and I think there's actually like 4 or 5 correct analogies. One of them I think Ellis will really like. I think it's the iPhone 12 mini of trucks.
I need to hear this.
I also think it's the Zenfone 9 of trucks. I also think it's the Project Aura of trucks.
Yes, that one.
There are many things, but first we should just explain what it actually is.
The Spirit Airlines.
That's another good one. The Spirit Airlines.
That's true. Choose your own adventure.
So the Slate truck, what it is, it's fascinating. They started making headlines as it was fully unveiled out of like stealth mode. Nobody kind of saw this coming.
Yeah.
But it was a new company with a new proposition for a vehicle. It's a electric truck. But it is the ultimate, most bare bones truck possible, and then you can customize your way into the truck that you want. So this base truck will be $27,000 after incentives, maybe about 20 grand.
Will be,
allegedly.
Allegedly.
And it'll be completely empty, bare bones, no stereo, no displays, no tow hitch.
It has no paint. Yeah.
It's just plastic, molded plastic. And if you want to change the color, you can wrap it. And if you want to add a display, you can add it. If you want to add a speaker, you can do that. If you want to add power windows, you can do that. But it is fully blank to start. So the appeal is obvious. It's cheap and it's customizable.
Yeah.
It's also small.
Beautiful.
Well, that's debatable. It's small for sure. So it's a 2-seater with a small bed, but you could actually even potentially do the add-on that turns it into a sedan. You like bolt on like a roof and some more seats.
Like a crossover.
Like a crossover, yeah.
I also would argue the bed's not. It's a 5-foot bed. It's bigger than a Rivian.
So
bed,
a 5-foot bed, but only a 2-seater cab.
Yeah.
So yeah, a small truck.
Same size as a Rivian truck bed.
Give or take. The Rivian's like a 4.5-foot bed.
It looks very small, which makes me very happy because in Japan they have all those really tiny trucks, and I really want.
There's like they're called key trucks. I was looking this all up this morning.
Yeah,
they're so cool. There are so many people that like
the Subaru ones that are amazing.
The Subaru ones awesome. It's like the Subaru Sanham, I think, or something. But like people import these into the U.S. because they're like fairly cheap. They're manual. They're easy. The truck bed is big enough for a lot of like things that wouldn't fit into the back of a big
pure
SUV,
function.
and it's pure function.
I think someone said they're banned in New York State. The imported.
I've seen them in my town in New Jersey.
Yeah, in New York City. I forget the exact rule, but you're not allowed to have them in New York City. And they're pronounced K trucks.
K trucks.
Yeah.
Okay. A video I watched said key truck. So
well, they are KEI.
So just a couple other like baseline specs to get it out the way. The essential baseline version is rear-wheel drive, single motor, roughly 150 miles of range. You can upgrade to an all-wheel drive drivetrain. I think that's something that they would do, not you. You can also upgrade to a larger battery, which get you about 240 miles of range.
Yeah, it's actually an additional battery that they put in.
They just add battery.
They added an additional whole other battery.
And yeah, there's just, if you go on their website, you can play with the customization.
Oh, wait, they do have that? I want to make the most expensive Slate possible.
Well, so that's the thing, Andrew.
Oh, you can't do that yet?
You have no idea how expensive the most expensive Slate is because you don't know how much the extras cost. All you know is that they cost extra. So they give you the base price, which gets the headlines really going. It's this is a $20,000 truck.
Yeah, sure.
But we don't know. I mean, I assume the business model is higher margins on accessories and eventually building you up to a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 truck when you spec it the way you want. But that's not the appeal. The appeal is it's customized. It's exactly what you want. It's not too much. It's small. I would love to go through the analogies now of why this is the insert blank here of trucks. Yeah. Spirit Airlines, I think, is the obvious one because the Spirit Airlines thing is you get
the basis of it is I want a vehicle that drives and has a bed, and every other thing the Spirit Airlines is I want to fly to a place.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep your shoes on? Probably another $30.
Cost some money.
Like that bag 4 inches too big. More monies.
Yeah.
Would you add power windows back?
No.
You keep the rolling windows.
I love rolling windows down, man. Manually, hand cranking that Oh yeah.
I said the same thing. Everyone said I was crazy.
No, it takes me back. It takes me back to a simpler time.
I think
when I was in my dad's truck and I had to do this. You know.
Okay. One, how often are you opening your windows?
All the time. It's warm out.
Dude, it's getting to the point where windows open and highway driving is like definitely not worth it.
Not on the highway.
Two, it's almost too hot already. We're doing the like humidity.
It's about to rain and your passenger side window's open. You got to
just
pull
reach
over.
Across.
You got to put one foot on the wheel, little
one foot on the gas, 1 foot in the grave. You know what I mean?
It's plastic.
That's what they
you
say.
can just wipe it right off.
Yeah, it's okay. That's an option. Yeah, you probably add the stereo back. I'm guessing you probably add.
I forgot the stereo. That one.
Yeah, it doesn't have a stereo or a touchscreen, which is very funny, but it does come with a phone mount.
And you can. It also has a speaker mount, so you could just put a JBL flip in there. And there you go. That's your sound system.
You know,
yeah,
that's something you could do.
That's fine.
I gotta say, their website is like so cool. It has there are 25 options like right on their website
really cool.
Showing all the things that you can do with it, and there's definitely one of these that will appeal to every single person on the planet.
Yeah,
which is very cute.
Everyone except people who buy trucks.
Okay, their SEO is terrible because I literally cannot find the website. I'm trying.
Oh, it's because Slate is also a publication,
and it's also just like pulling everyone else's SEO.
Is slate.auto. Just type that in.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So Spirit Airlines analogy makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Here's why I think it's I'll go next with the iPhone 12 mini.
I would love to know this one. Okay, let's hear it.
And this is similar to the Zenfone, but in the US, where most people buy trucks, where the most popular vehicle is the Ford F-150, where the second most popular vehicle is the Silverado, and where people buy massive trucks all the time, not because they're forced on people, but because that's what people just want. A small truck like this will have a very enthusiastic niche community that loves it, but that community will not be large enough to keep it on sale for long enough to sustain, just like the iPhone 12 mini. It lasted 2 generations and then it was canceled for what? A Plus, a bigger phone, because people buy bigger phones. And in the US, which is where this company is apparently supposed to be based, where the factory is going to be, where manufacturing is going to be, where they're going to start selling, people just don't buy small trucks.
I have a counter argument.
Yeah.
But I also have a counter to my counter argument.
I'm ready.
Okay. My counter argument would be a lot of the people in the US that buy trucks don't use the truck. Like they don't use the value of the truck.
Most of them.
Everyone who buys a truck in the U.S. does not use
Not
it.
everyone.
99%.
Carpenters.
99.0999%. Like,
correct.
Yeah.
And I think that like the basis of this car is that it's a truck, but that's only because you can add things onto the back to make it a different kind of car. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it starts as a truck, but then you can turn it into a crossover. You can turn it into like a roll cage thing. You can turn whatever you want. So it's like, yes, it's a truck, but it's also everything else, which I find interesting. Also, people in like not smaller cities, but people in cities who kind of like want the flexibility of a truck, but they don't want to use the truck all the time. Like having a smaller one like this is really cool. I just love that idea in general.
I like. Wait, sorry. Were you finished with that?
I forgot my counter to my counter.
I thought that was the counter to your counter already.
I can give you the counter to that counter.
Well, I think like going off of what he said almost is the counter to his counter, where it is like this because it's cheap and because it's super bare bones. If you're someone who like does need the bed of a truck, times like right now my brother-in-law parks this like 1995 F-150 in my yard because both of us use it here and there, and he bought it for like $2,000 and it's falling apart, but it
just have it.
You know, it keeps you on the road for like a couple hours. That like one day every 2 months you need it.
Yeah.
Like if you were to buy a like sedan that was your everyday commuter car, and then this, you could get that for way cheaper than an F-150. And like this bed space is a little smaller, but I think most people using the bed space of a truck don't need the giant one. If you're towing, this is never going to be your towing truck.
My question also becomes like, how difficult is it to take off the attachments and stuff? Because most of the time I would probably want to use it to look like kind of like a Subaru, like a crossover.
Yeah.
But then sometimes if I was helping my friend move, I'd be like, time to break out the truck part.
I don't think that one will be easily removable. I think if you're turning it into a Jeep the way it kind of looks. I think that's a more permanent alteration, kind of like the drivetrain alterations.
They said they wanted to make it easy to do your own modifications for the car, except for things that had high voltage.
My guess, if it's there's a back that looks kind of similar to like the old Bronco, which is
cool.
You know, a bigger version of this, but kind of similar to where like it was a truck where it had this like detachable roof on the back, and like the seats could come out and it could kind of be.
Yeah.
So like I think there might be one of these. You know, they're just showing a bunch of different ways to do this, but some of these enclosures in the back end seats looks like they may be possible to get taken out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then this is all speculating because they kind of don't have answers for us on the website.
Yeah, I wish there was a builder. I wish I would play with this for hours if there was a full... Where is it?
The builder appears
give you price,
once
though.
you reserve one.
I have to pay $50 to play with it.
Which I did. I reserved one.
Same.
And so they sent me a link to play with the builder.
Hold on. Slate, hear me out. Okay. Add the builder before the reserve thing, and I can guarantee you will get more reservations. There's like keyboard sites that do this where you can customize all the different parts.
Yeah.
I play with it so many times that eventually I just bought one. Like I'd customized one like 50 times and went, I just have to press buy this time.
But they need the $50 to pay for the server cost to run that builder. So
Actually,
I bet you it would result in more reservations if they let you customize all the things, even without showing prices, just like an idea and messing around with it.
Yeah. So it is. So that is the thing. It is a $50 reservation.
Yeah.
I think they will get a lot of $50 reservations. Judging by how often I've seen it on social media and how often I've seen people talking about it, there's already plenty of people reserving it.
I'm interested in this.
And you can get in line for $50. If you don't like the price at the end, you can cancel. But it's just like $50. Yeah, sure. Let's throw in. Let's see what happens.
I was going to say, where can you cancel? Because I was looking and I cannot find it.
I haven't looked yet. Maybe it's really hard to cancel.
I don't know if you can. I think you have to like do the whole contact us,
like
go through the whole process.
Oh, really?
I'm sure once they come out with the builder and you realize the price of the truck you want is $40,000, they'll have to give you a way to cancel.
We'll see. Maybe I'm just out $50.
I really hope. I mean, the $50 is gone. I don't think I'm going to get that back.
This is NACS as well, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's pretty cool.
It's funny. There's a couple EVs I've started to see shipping that are finally allegedly NACS native. The new EV6 refresh is NACS native.
Yeah.
I'm getting off topic. I was going to give you the counter to your counter.
Oh.
Which is you said counterpoint, most people in the US who buy trucks don't use it as a truck.
Yeah.
And my counter to that counter is that's never stopped anyone from buying the truck.
Yeah. You're forgetting the ego.
They just
part
buy
of
the
it.
big truck anyway.
That's true.
So it's not like, oh, I just realized I have this truck, but I don't really use it for truck things. Maybe I'll get a smaller one. No, they all just buy the big truck.
They have a really cool comparison thing here where they show it versus a Silverado, a Maverick, and a 1985 Toyota SR5 pickup. And it shows like a size comparison. It's only like 2/3 of the size of the Silverado.
Yeah.
And
it's smaller than the Maverick.
Smaller than the Maverick, which is already a small truck. And then it's about the same size, slightly bigger than the 85 Toyota SR5. So, I don't know. I could probably park this in Brooklyn is all I'm saying.
No, you could. Okay, my other two analogies real quick.
Okay.
It's the Project Ara of trucks.
Yes.
You remember Project Ara.
Oh, absolutely.
What happened to Project Ara?
Google happened to Project Ara.
Can you explain Project Ara?
Project Ara was the dream of a fully modular smartphone where you could, parts would get old and you just pop it out and pop a new piece in. Mm-hmm. Oh, speaker got old, speaker upgrade. I'll just buy the new module. Oh, it's getting a little slow. I'll pop the CPU module out, drop a new one in.
More storage.
My counter argument to that is that like we all know that those really specific techie parts don't work very well together, where like something like an EV just needs to be a good base and then you pretty much can just put stuff on top. Because like the Rivian already kind of proves that the R1S and the R1T are the same thing, just with a different top on it.
Pretty close, yeah.
So like this is just the cheaper, different version of it. Don't you dare sneeze, Ellis. I'm sorry, I tried to stop it.
I agree. I think the modular part that is
it has
closer to Project Ara is that, again, it's mostly a small niche group of people that actually care about and buy with that in mind.
Yeah. I guess all I wanted to say is I think this is a better chance than Project Ara did. I think Project Ara has zero chance ever.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. Project Ara was like a nerd's dream, but it was a nerd's dream because we are all like, this is very unlikely to actually work technically, but it is still a cool idea.
Project Ara was like the pinnacle of Kickstarter campaign cool
Yes.
videos back then. It was in like the peak of that time.
It was like you can sell on the market and you can sell different pieces. You can 3D print things. You can do this. And I was like, this is the ultimate. Yeah, but there's just not a market for that.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing where like it was such a cool, universally approved idea that the video about it went viral outside of the regular tech community.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh yeah, modular phone. Yeah. You know, the iPhone doesn't do this. Android phones don't do this. We all think this is a great idea. But when it came time to actually support it and buy it, there just wasn't enough.
I got a couple things about this too. I know that it says it's $20,000. There's just no way. Like both. One, they're trying to get rid of the federal tax incentive, so by the time this actually comes out, that'll probably be gone.
27. So it'll be 27,000 without the incentive.
Yeah, right, 27,000.
You could get a Ford Maverick brand new right now for like 24.
Yeah, but is it electric?
It's a hybrid.
Oh, well. Also, like the whole point is that it's a blank slate that you can add on things onto, and so they're selling you this dream of modularity, but again, they are not saying how much any of those pieces cost. So it's getting all these headlines because it's like, oh, $20,000 modular truck. By the time you actually kit it out the way you want it to be, it's probably going to be over $40K. Like,
I'm thinking.
You know,
I mean, there's a reason they're not telling you the price of the modules right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then last thing, I just wanted to note, it is interesting that they are doing it this way because I was reading about this and apparently different parts of the process of making a car are expensive in different ways, and one of them is like painting is apparently an incredibly expensive part of the process. And so, you know, you would look at car modifications like when you're buying a car and it's like $2,000 for paint. What the heck? Apparently it costs a lot of money to paint cars. So not even painting these cars and then just giving you like the bare bones like injection like plastic instead of having metal everything. So yeah, I mean, I think it has promise, and I think there's a high probability that they will actually ship this thing, which is not something I think I've said about almost any electric startup before.
Tell me why you think that, because I've done a good amount of digging now, and I've read about this company and about the fact that they have a factory building that they've acquired that they're going to tool up, and apparently it doesn't need as much tooling to do the plastic as the metal, but you really are convinced that, I mean, they're saying winter 2026, which to me
that
sounds
is soon.
To me, first of all,
okay,
Slate is an anagram for Tesla.
I know.
And I just need everyone who's been making fun of the Tesla Roadster not coming out for 7 years, and then is suddenly on board for the Slate. I need you all to realize the irony of that, please. I need you all to understand that they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, the same
okay,
thing.
but
One's a company that definitely could have put that out already, but they just keep
Matter of fact,
your
Tesla,
money $50,000.
Yeah,
Tesla had a history up until that point of actually delivering what they said they would as far as hardware. Slate doesn't. And so to me, they are currently in the same exact category as Canoe, as Fisker doesn't really count, but
no, I would
like
compare Canoe
Faraday Future, like the companies that never got there. And I would say that, you know, we want to believe in them, but the Tesla anagram is so funny to me because it's like, okay, it's a Slate, it's a new Slate or whatever, but it's the same letters as Tesla. And Tesla
that's
isn't shipping,
funny.
It is very funny.
But yes, I'm rooting for it because I think they have a chance at actually shipping this, but I'm curious how confident we can actually be in that.
Thanks for watching that clip. Let's imagine YouTube like the Slate EV, where right now we have the base model of just watching this video. But if I wanted to have an add-on where then I could watch every time this channel uploads another video, I would pay for a little button.
Like a bell icon.
Yeah, a bell icon. I think that'd be a good idea. I would click it.
Module. Sure. Gotta call it a module.
Module.
Very important.
How much is that going to be? Is it going to be free?
I'm not going to tell you yet, but you can add it onto your reservation.
It's in the customizer.
I already reserved my subscribe button, so.
That's a good one. I think that's important.
I'm going to add like a little rating system under the video so you can like it or dislike it. But we won't tell you if the dislike actually mattered, just the like.
Oh.
Yeah,
smart.
We'll count those. Yeah.
But I paid for the dislike button.
Yeah, but this
and
is
I don't get
module.
to know anything about it?
It's a different module. This is my customized rating system.
What if I sell you a like and a dislike button, and then later I decide I'm just going to take your dislike button away that you paid for?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm sure no one will have a problem with that.